love that. I love that. This time today, I was ready. There was no messing around with my headphones or anything. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today on another episode of Live with the Glitter Practitioner. That's me, Dr. Nupi. Please let me know in comments where you're tuning in from. I love just going through the comments at the end of the show and replying to everybody. And I'm just, you know me, I'm just so curious. I just love to see where everybody's joining me from. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a GP, which is a general practitioner, which is family physician basically in the UK. I'm also a transformation and spiritual life coach and have been very busy setting up my own business, the Glitter Practitioner, launching my Find Your Fizz and Flourish 12-week coaching program. So it's all very, very, very exciting. And I guess my passion and everything I guess I do as a doctor, as a coach, is I am passionate about holistic care, and it's truly whole person, heart-centered care. And it's just magical and full of glitter because it spreads, and that's the whole point. So today I have got an absolutely fantastic couple of guests. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my guests, Dr. Jeep and Vanessa Naum. Come on!
Hello there.
Oh, Nupi, so good to see you. Loved your intro.
Fabulous.
Fits you to a T. Oh, so awesome.
Oh, bless you guys. I love you so much. Seriously. Thank you so much for joining me on my show today. Seriously. Oh, sorry, I'm going a bit wibbly again. Before I let you tell everybody who you are, what you do, what you're all about, I just want to share how we met, if that's okay. And then it's all over to you.
Yes.
So when was it? Was it a couple of months ago, I think?
Yes.
Something like that, wasn't it? I think it was, because I was watching, this is what I love about LinkedIn. It's connecting with people in the comment section. So a very, very dear friend, Tamara Beckford, Dr. Tamara Beckford, had you guys on as she was interviewing you, and I happened to tune in at the right time, see you guys. I don't think there was actually many people in the comment section. It was me. And we literally had a four-way conversation because I just loved your energy, loved what you were talking about. And I guess we've just connected and stayed friends ever since, really.
We have. It's been fabulous.
It was, as they say, it's a match made in heaven. And
Indeed.
it's been wonderful to get to know you. And it's anybody's privilege to be able to get to know you.
Thank you, guys. It's been wonderful to get to know you. So, and this is why I wanted to have you on. I don't think I even had a show back then, actually. I didn't.
I don't think so.
No. Anyway, I wanted to share you with people who watch my show and then just, share who you are and what you're about. So over to you. Tell everybody what you do.
Well, there were two things that I can tell you, at least from my perspective, Nupi, when I was a wee one, as they would say, across the pond. I wanted to be a doctor, but the other thing was I wanted to be in a life relationship. I wanted to be married. And so I was born into a healthcare professional relationship. My dad was a doctor, really a good father, and certainly loved that, but not a very good husband. So born into a pretty dysfunctional marriage that even at a young age, I could see that there were things that didn't need to happen. And I was pretty determined then that when I got to the age that I could do something about it and certainly help other couples, not only in the healthcare professional field, but otherwise, have the kind of relationships that not only that they wanted, but they deserved.
Absolutely. I love that.
fortunately, years later, fast forward, this woman came into my life, and I'll let her tell you about herself.
So very quickly, I was previously married before Jeep, and it was clearly in a relationship that was not working. You know, we say that it takes a team. Two people are in the marriage. It takes two. And clearly, my previous ex just didn't get that concept. And so I wrestled with, you know, do I just stay in this marriage, or, you know, what should I do? And I came to the conclusion that I was in my early 20s, mid 20s by that point, and thought, you know, I want somebody to love me and have the capacity to love me deeply. And I want to return that as well. And so therefore, I made a decision to leave, and fast forward, met Jeep, and having a relationship with him was what I had dreamed about. He was willing to work on, you know, work. And he was willing to be a team member, right?
Yeah. Oh, shucks, honey.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
No, but you know, go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say is, I know when we've spoken before, the work that you guys do, you embody actually what it is that you share and show clients as well. Tell everybody a little bit about actually, you know, where your focus is.
Well, you know, Nupi, I think the word that you just used, embody, is because you're right. It's what we do. A lot of our practice is using ourselves as examples. You know, we're in a healthcare marriage. I've been a physician since 1990, and Vanessa's been right there along with me. She was a part of my practice for years, and you know, we've parented our children together. She initially did an awful lot of that alone, and you know,
as the wife of a general practitioner.
So she understood that, and had to rein me back in on several occasions to say, hey, you know, I understand that you're a physician. I understand your stresses. But we made a commitment to do our relationship together. We made a commitment to parent our kids. And this is not going to be just me doing most of this. You're going to do part of it. And
it wasn't a demand.
No, it wasn't. I didn't mean to. I didn't make it sound like that. Although you can be pretty persuasive sometimes.
Vanessa, good on you. You were stating your needs. It's a partnership, and it's difficult, but it has to combine together, and that's what you guys do beautifully. And I know that's what you help physicians to do specifically. As we were saying earlier, you know, it's a different ball game. You're under different pressures. It's it shifts. It's especially if one's non-medic, I think.
Yes.
But then even if it's two physicians, I always say medics and physicians in the States. That's also really hard, because you automatically assume the other person perhaps understands what you're going through and extends that same compassion, love, all of that. And actually, I think we're so bad as people, physicians generally, in really looking after our own needs and really pushing ourselves first. And I'm absolutely passionate about this, but I think that's where you guys come in beautifully, because lived and learned experience yourself, and you're showing and helping other people how to foster that communication and that connection and that trust and that respect and all the goodies basically that you do.
I think that we kind of get into this mindset that, okay, well, you know, I'm a healthcare professional. and we all know what that encompasses. It's not just physicians, but it's kind of like, okay, well, this is what I'm doing. So really, my relationship is just going to be bad, and I have to accept that. And that is something you should never have to accept, because you can have both.
Or say he or she will understand.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as human beings, we can't read each other's minds. So we have to learn to be able to communicate. And that is a very big word, because you really unpack that. It's define, how do we successfully communicate with each other based on our past, our origin, our family of origin, our style, to not step on each other's triggers, to be able to come together as two human beings stating what we need.
Yeah, I think that is so true, actually, because, and I guess it starts with being aware and self-care, caring for yourself.
Yes.
And valuing your needs, owning them, because at the end of the day, it's nobody else's responsibility. Your happiness isn't dependent on anybody else, actually. And this is what I spend a lot of time with my clients or with patients, sort of really, really honing this down. It's with you. And when you are, I guess, in tune with your needs, you're going to be better in tune with somebody else's. And that's when you get this much deeper connection. And I guess it's that relationship building, isn't it? And it's that level of trust.
Yes.
And I think as physicians, automatically, communication is probably one of our key skills. It's one of the, it's one of the empathy, connection, communication. It's pretty much the foundation as a physician. But that doesn't automatically always apply when it's with each other. I know that. And I think that is really so important.
It's amazing. And you bring up such a, it really needed to be said. We're supposed to be empathic with our patients, but somehow that gets turned off.
Yeah.
When it has to do with our significant others or our partners. It's like we completely forget how to do that with people who mean most to us. It's like we just expect them to be a casualty of of what we decided to do with our lives. And how can we be, eventually it's going to affect how we treat our patients. If we're not good for ourselves, how can we be good for other people?
Absolutely. I was just sorry. I was just keeping an eye on the comments. Some really good comments coming up. David Hansen has put earlier, communicating your needs, and in a relationship or with anybody really. This could apply relationships and business, etc., but particularly in a couple, in a marriage, stating your needs or communicating what it is you're feeling and thinking, because the other person isn't a mind reader. And you think telepathy, you should know what I'm thinking, and then it's kind of like you assume, okay, well, you should just be doing it, and then it goes all a bit passive aggressive and a bit of a tone and this, and before you know it, something's blown up out of nothing, and actually all it really needed was honest communication. But I guess this takes time. It takes time to foster and develop. And I think it is all about it's self-care. That's why it's so important. So when you are in tune with yourself, then the rest follows. I think you learn to be more compassionate generally.
And it takes an intention. You
Good
have
point.
to put the time into yourself as well.
Yeah.
Because if you just think it's going to automatically happen, it doesn't. You need to make that intention for yourself.
Yeah.
Part of what we do, part of what we find is during engagement, we don't find that a lot of substantive discussions are had. You know, it's engagement in a lot of ways is based on, you know, this unbelievable physical attraction for each other. You know, hormones are on high. You know, we're not thinking of potential landmines that are in the way of having this relationship come together in the, you know, and be married. There's it kind of is like, okay, well, you know, we dated for a while. Now it just follows. We're going to be engaged. Then we're going to get married. And things like, okay, well, are you going to be okay if I have to travel to do my training? Is it going to be a problem if we have to move? Are your roots grounded here? How many children do you want to have? And if you do, or I mean, do you want to have kids? And if you do, how many do you want to have? These are all important things that are kind of glossed over. And the thoughts are, okay, we'll just go ahead, get married, and everything will be okay. Well, what happens is the honeymoon period just kind of phases out. Real life kicks in. Now you're married. And now you have this extra responsibility that you're dealing with. And it didn't need to be that way, but it is so pervasive in our practice and what we deal with.
But you know what? If you've never been married before, all you do is you watch the people around you as examples, right? And you think, I'm not going to be that way. And then what ends up happening is if you don't have the tools, you know, after the honeymoon phase, you know,
hi, Stephen,
things are left unsaid, right? We just have trouble communicating our needs and wants. Things start happening. We're wondering what's going on. And then, you know, we're not talking. Body language is off, like you had spoken about before. And then, you know, one foot in front of the other, and then you're walking down different paths. And what we do is say, okay, come on, let's get back on that path again. And get connected.
It takes time. It's not. It's hard work. It's not hard work. What I'm trying to say is, it takes commitment, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it takes consistency to keep checking in. And I think that is really the key. And I love what you said to me earlier, Vanessa, about the thing that really, I guess, underpins your scope of practice and how you bring this through. I'll let you say it because it's beautiful.
I'll say it. The business of medicine, right? And all the preparation it takes and going through that journey dehumanizes people. How could you all do what you do if a little bit of that humanization wasn't there, right? Because you see really, really hard things. So what we do is we teach you how to feel human again, give you permission to be human again, and start feeling the goodness and get clear on what you really want and need from your relationships.
Plus, we're, as healthcare professionals, we're taught to be fixers. And we think that we can fix ourselves. We think that that there isn't anything that we can't do. And again, that comes from our training. Well, not everything
needs fixed.
Or that we to say that we don't need help, or that we don't need somebody to help guide us. It's just not the case. And so it's so important to be able to say, hey, you know, I don't know everything. I can't fix this, but I want to have a relationship with my partner. I want this. Not only do I want it, I deserve it. And so I'm gonna get some help. I'm gonna find somebody that's gonna help me do that. And I just want, you know, our colleagues to know that, there are people out there. There's you out there that do what you do, and we're out here, and we can and we will help.
Oh, I love that. And I think it's also saying, it's giving permission, isn't it, to people
Yeah.
to go, it's okay. It's all right that things aren't okay right now. And it's giving permission to self that it's not a failure that this has
No.
happened, or, you know, things might not be going the way you thought it was going to go, but
Right.
it's allowing yourself to be helped and accept that help. That's the hardest bit for so many, is accepting help and actually going, actually, I actually need help, or we
Right.
need help, or, you know. So what would you say to people in those circumstances?
Yeah.
I'm
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah. We say, look at it as personal growth. Not that you really need to fix a whole lot, but go on a discovery together. You know, if your life has become all work and no play, then let's figure out how to insert play back into your life, you know? And the reason that you fell in love to begin with, what are you doing now that you were doing before? You know, what were you doing before that you aren't doing now? And so therefore, it's getting out of that all work and no play mode.
Well, take off your Superman cape.
Yeah.
Don't think that you have to be Superman all the time,
Or
because
Superwoman.
if you think, or Superwoman, absolutely. And because if you feel like that you have to be Superman and Superwoman, it's going to be more difficult for you to be able to self-reflect, become mindful of what you really need to make what you want work.
Yeah, and also you're setting expectations. I mean, that's the key thing with perfectionism, which is exhausting. You know, you're driven by unrelenting standards, and people can't, you won't be able to meet those expectations, even though, you know, you're striving constantly. But then what expectation are you sort of subliminally putting out there for somebody else to meet as well? And it's really, I know it's a tricky one, but I think it's just being, it goes back down to, doesn't it? Be aware, know that it's okay to ask for help, and accept that help.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, in growing up and being around this profession, I saw so many relationships that needlessly came apart because even the most basic tools, let's face it, when in our training, we're not trained to personally deal with this. It's, you know, whether it's personally or whatever, we're not given any of these tools. And so
very true.
A lot of what we do is teach these tools that so many of us don't have to be able to do it. It's horrible. It's horrible, but we're making a difference with that.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, you know, the fact that you guys are doing this work and you have your program and your book. Tell them about your book. Tell them about your book.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. It's called What's Forever For, A Physician's Guide to Everlasting Love and Success in Marriage. And now I'm the author on there, but that really it's not accurate because Vanessa had a...
he couldn't have written it without me.
I couldn't have done it without her. Just like I really can't have done anything in our marriage without her. So it's the same thing with the book.
I love it, Vanessa. Yeah, he couldn't have done that without me. Of course he couldn't. Absolutely.
We could probably do a whole podcast and an interview about how this book was written.
I'd love that. Well, we'll do a part 2. Don't worry. I'll have you on for a part 2 and a part 3. You know, keep it going.
This is just so much fun. You're such an awesome person to interact with, and I hope your listeners feel the same. I'm sure they do.
Thanks, Dr. Jeep.
My pleasure. But the book was, it was written based on some of our experiences and based on just some things that I wanted to say in tools that we talk about are introduced in this book. And it's been a labor of love. It's done very well. It's won a couple of awards, received a lot of critical acclaim. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of it.
I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's my Supernova Soul sister, Diana Londoño, and she's written. I need that book in life.
Well, we'll help you out, Diana.
Oh, and so at the minute, so your book, the program that you run with for physicians, is that based on this book or parts of it?
Parts of the book. So we took some pieces from the book, which are tools that we have in the book. There are a few tools in there. And we've developed a program, and it's 90 days from clarity to connection. Because when you're just so busy doing the work and surviving, do you really sit back and think, what do you want? And is your life going down the path that you expected it to go? Goals, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years? That type of stuff. So getting very, very clear on what you want, also getting clear on what you need. Yeah. What do you need from each other as well? And then
and maybe what you don't want, and actually speaking up, asserting yourself, but that, as so that you actually say, this is what I don't want. This isn't working for me. Correct. Or however people put it. But I think that's also really important.
Yeah. And it's okay to say that and not.
It's safe.
Right. It's safe to say that. That's being vulnerable. And that's what we teach also, is teaching that vulnerability, where you don't take that as criticism, but you sit back and you figure out how you're going to work on it together.
Yes.
And how are you going to give each other what you want and what you need?
Absolutely.
And then the second month, we work on challenges that just happen through life, jobs, family, family of origin, personality, how just different personalities can, clash with each other. But if you're aware of that, then you can not step on each other's landmines, right?
Yeah.
And then the third part is one of our favorites, of course, because we put in what very few do. And that is the sexual piece. So I am a somatic sexual coach, and that is the piece that we put into it, because you can't leave that out.
No, you can't.
I mean, it's not something a lot of us want to talk about, which is understandable. Right. Oftentimes it's intensely personal, but if it's not good, if it's not satisfactory, not just to one, but to both, because what's a problem for one is a problem for both. And that's another thing that we coach. It's a problem. I mean, there's a number of them out there, that with good intimate connection, intimacy is not only physical, but it's emotional, it's intellectual. So that it's a very important part. If it's good, it's usually 15% of the discussion. If it's bad, it's 80% of the discussion. What happens when it becomes 80%? All these other things that are important kind of get drowned out and aren't talked about. And so it just complicates the issues that you have in your relationship. And it just should not be. Not at all.
I agree. Totally agree with you. And any exciting, any new projects coming up, or anything that's maybe in the pipeline, or maybe what you've both been working on?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're working on our 90 Days to Clarity and Connection program, and we're enrolling new clients every month. So now we're gearing up to enroll clients in September.
Fantastic.
And
And how can
October,
people get hold of you? How do people find you?
they can reach us on LinkedIn, of course. We have a business page. So whoever's listening, please follow our business page. It's called Best Friends Again, because you all start out as best friends, right? And then life gets in the way. And sometimes you don't feel like each other's best friend. Well, we want to help you become best friends again so that you can live your best life and live your best marriage. And so our website is www.bestfriendsagain.com. And on there is a free download of a chapter of Dr. Jeep's book. So everybody, please download that chapter.
Fantastic.
I've been seeing a lot of Diana up here, and she's been making some very, very insightful, really, really good comments about, the necessity of talking about intimacy. And she even made a comment about intimacy starts outside the bedroom. And that is huge. Intimacy, when you think about it, really starts when you get out of bed in the morning.
Right.
And, if you want something physical to happen, there's a lot that goes into that. And it's not just about, okay, I'm ready.
Pick up your clothes. Empty the dishwasher.
I'm going to take out the garbage, or, I'm going to take the kids to dance.
Yeah. I know. That's brilliant. And
the little things
what would be, pardon?
The little things mean a lot. And Hallmark,
oh gosh, absolutely.
They became trillionaires on that one.
And it all adds up, doesn't it? You can think, we certain aspects we don't look into, but it all adds up, and it's part of human nature. We need this. We do. The baseline needs again. What one or two, say, key take homes would you like our viewers to take away with them today?
And this is so important for me to get across to your listeners, and that is, please don't think you're the only one that's suffering. Please do not be embarrassed about this. You can have what you want. You can have what you do, and you can have your relationship. They do not need to be mutually exclusive. Take that step, get help. It doesn't mean you're weak.
Doesn't mean you're a failure.
Doesn't mean you're a failure. All you're saying, look at it this way. Your patients come to you because they want help. We have to stop demonizing ourselves when we have an issue and think that we're any different in a lot of ways than from other people who come to see us. You can have what you want. Let us help you. And the other thing is, that's a kind of like a corollary to that, is don't suffer in silence. Let us help there. Let us be there for you. Let us advocate for you.
Oh, it's beautiful. And Vanessa, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, we know that it's a big step. Absolutely. It's a big step, and you might be afraid, but with fear comes vulnerability. With vulnerability comes trust. With trust comes connection. And you can go from a level of 0 to 3 in connection to an 8, a 9, 10 in connection with your partner, and live the life that you dreamed about living.
That's what I say. That's beautiful. I think that's fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. I've loved having you on, and I think I'm going to have you back on, because there's still more. We've just literally given everybody a whistle-stop tour, really. And there's so much more there to unpick and have a chat. So would you kindly join me again on Live with the Glitter Practitioner another time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, oh glittered one. Absolutely.
I do not make him say that. Can I just clarify this?
I came up with that myself. We just love you, Noopy. We just love your heart. We just love your who
Style,
you are,
everything.
essence. You're just such a joy to work with and to talk to, and
Thank you.
definitely want to do this with you again.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry now. Stop it. I've got like glitter tears. Look, I've done it all. I specifically put
that'll
loads
be a
and
new
loads of
one.
glitter.
That'll be a new one.
Glitter tears.
Glitter tears.
Yes, glitter tears
There
of
you go.
happiness. I'm so dramatic, aren't I? So please
That's
don't
why
go
we
anywhere.
love
I'll
you.
come back into the green room and chat to you in a little bit. But thank you. I just wanted to say thank you so much. It has been just beautiful to have you both
Well,
today.
the
It means a
honor
lot to
has
me.
been
ours.
the honor has been all ours.
And to your listeners, absolutely. Thank you for listening.
Oh, and I'll see you very soon. Don't go anywhere. Stay in the green room.
won't.
We're good.
Oh, that was just, I don't know how everybody else is feeling, but I'm just feeling very, it's really touched my heart. It just does. And they're just such beautiful people. I couldn't wait to share who they are and what they're all about. And I think for me, it's akin to, we're spreading joy, spreading this message that your needs matter and you absolutely deserve to live a full life, full of passion, full of meaning and purpose. Who says you can't? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been just a gorgeous episode. And don't forget, you can find me here on LinkedIn Live every Monday at 8 o'clock BST, which is noon Pacific Daylight Time. And okay, and that is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my 12-week Find Your Fizz and Flourish coaching program is pretty much going live. So I'm taking new bookings. Please look out for that. And there are some very exciting things happening. So watch this space. And all I'm going to say is supernova soul explosion is what's going to be happening very, very soon. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.